Welcome to Lake TV's Community Spotlight Show, brought to you by the great folks at COMC, Central Ozarks Medical Center, where your health is their mission. It's Thanksgiving time. We're into the season of Thanksgiving, and we've got a pastor here with us, Pastor Jeff Higbie, Calvary Assembly of God in Jefferson City. Thank you for making the trip down from Jeff City to join us.
Hey, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
So we're talking Thanksgiving, but before we get to that, there seems to have been kind of a war started in recent years against Christians, certainly against Jews, it seems like. Is it hard to be a pastor these days in that environment?
It's challenging on a lot of levels, partially because there is so much information flooding into the hearts and minds of people on a daily basis, more so than ever before. It's like drinking out of a fire hose for people. And so there's so many mixed messages out there. And I think that's what makes it hard.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I also think that people, especially young people, are looking for something solid, something that is truthful, and something that'll make a difference.
Yeah. Are they open to that?
They are. Matter of fact, Barna Institute says that 80% of people under the age of 40 are interested in hearing about your faith. And after 40, it only drops down to 70%. So people are interested in hearing about our faith.
All right.
Yeah.
So as we move into this Thanksgiving season, what's your favorite holiday? Is it Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, 4th of July? What would be your
my favorite holiday, hands down, is my anniversary date, the day I married my beautiful wife. So
wow.
we make that a holiday. That's my favorite holiday.
Really? And what is that day?
Been celebrating that for 43 years, May 10th.
May 10th.
Yeah.
So that's the big celebration
that's the
holiday. That is so
I love all the others too.
I bet she doesn't mind hearing that either.
I hope not.
Right? Yeah. All right. So congratulations, 43 years. That's amazing. As a pastor, you do a lot of counseling, you do a lot of that. You do hospice work. Is it important for people to be thankful? Is there any positive thing that comes out of being thankful?
Everything positive comes out of being thankful. The Bible tells us to be thankful even in difficult times. We seem to gravitate toward bad news, and bad news sells, they say.
Yeah.
And so you turn on the news, that's all you hear is bad news just about. But good news, and when you share good news and when you receive good news, it lifts the heart, lifts the spirit, encourages people. And there's more good going on than there is bad. We just get pumped full of the bad on the TV and the news and stuff like that all the time.
We're inundated by that. So are there some tricks to staying thankful or remembering to be thankful?
Absolutely. It is a matter of discipline. I tell people all the time that Christianity is a discipline. You pray when you don't feel like praying. You go to church when you don't feel like going to church. You discipline yourself to read your Bible. And so you discipline yourself to see the good in people. You discipline yourself to be thankful for the things when you look around and you have a home to live in and clothes on your back and food on the table. Just the simplicities of life. Learn to be thankful. Discipline yourself to notice.
Right. I mean, and sometimes people overlook the simplest thing they should be the happiest about. Yeah. You know, family, wife, kids, friends, things like that. So I mentioned it earlier, you've been a hospice chaplain for several years. What can hospice patients be thankful for? I mean, they're facing death, right?
Yeah. One of the greatest things that they can be thankful for, even in the midst of sometimes pain and suffering, is time. Sometimes people's lives end like that.
Yeah.
These people have an opportunity to get things right with their families. And I've seen that happen over and over again. Get things right with God. I've seen that happen over and over again. They get time to say the things that maybe others who died in a car crash or a sudden heart attack never had a chance to do.
Wow. Wow. And it's probably, I mean, most people don't think of it that way, but people going through that pain and suffering would probably willingly, gladly go through the pain and suffering to have that time with their family.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Oh, wow. Hadn't really thought about that. And if hospice patients, people who they know they're going to die soon, right? If they can find things to be thankful for, I'm guessing just about anybody can.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How about the normal Joe? What does the normal Joe, how should they go about finding these things to be thankful for?
In America, we're so spoiled. We've had it so good these last several decades and things like that. And so, again, when you get to the end of life, everything narrows down again. And so in the broad spectrum of our 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, or whatever, we get so crowded with so much stuff that we don't think about it too much. But then when we get to the end of life, everything narrows down. We begin to see what's important, and it's family. It's family and God.
Yeah.
Every time I've been at the bedside of so many people who've taken their last breath, and I've never once heard somebody say, I wish I would have worked more. I wish I had more money. But all the time I hear them say, I wish I had devoted my life to Christ earlier. I wish I had spent more time with my family.
Wow.
So you can always be thankful for God and always be thankful for family.
Most people don't see that,
Yeah.
right? I mean, as hard as that job of being a hospice chaplain could be, there's a real gift in there, isn't there?
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, so we're talking some pretty heavy stuff here, even as we talk about Thanksgiving with Pastor Jeff Higbie, and we'll talk more about Thanksgiving and all that implies right after this.
Don't miss out on your favorite show. Watch Lake TV on demand on YouTube, Roku, and Fire TV.
Central Ozarks Medical Center, voted Missouri's best and best at the lake, is recruiting team members due to growth. Amazing employment opportunities for both medical and non-medical positions with competitive salaries and outstanding perks. For more information, go to the Careers tab at centralozarks.org. COMC for the best medical, dental, and behavioral health care. Join a leader. Join our team. COMC, where your health is our mission. If it's happening at the lake, it's happening on Lake TV. From the polar plunge to festivals, parades, aquapalooza, and boat shows, Lake TV has it all. Even the granddaddy of them all, the shootouts. If you're looking for places to party, things to do, or even a new home to move into, you've gotta love Lake TV. Welcome back to Lake TV's Community Spotlight Show, brought to you by the great folks at COMC. So we're talking Thanksgiving. Pastor Jeff Higbie with us, Calvary Assembly of God, Jefferson City. And so you grew up in Kansas, right? So what were some of your Thanksgiving traditions when you were growing up?
You know, again, I was the youngest out of 8 kids, so my older relatives were much older when I was a little kid. But my grandmother died when I was 10, Grandpa died when I was 5, but my best memories was going to Grandma's house at Thanksgiving as a little kid and watching my dad interact with his brothers and going quail hunting. So after the big dinner, the big thing was the older guys all got to go quail hunting, and I couldn't wait till I was old enough to get to go quail hunting with them.
Yep, absolutely. And you kind of remember that, huh?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Those are some pretty special memories. It's amazing the sensory memories of turkey baking in the oven or the pies or whatever it might be when those come back and hit you. So as a pastor and as a chaplain for hospice patients, you've had a whole lot of schooling over the years. Were you a good student growing up?
I was a horrible student, Chris.
You were not good?
I was not good.
How was that possible?
I was kicked out of school once or twice. I was never a good student. I wasn't a bad person. I just didn't like showing up. I'd rather go fishing. I'd rather go do something else. I would just rather be somewhere other than in school.
Right.
So we came to the agreement that, okay, I'm not going to school anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
I wish I could have worked out that agreement when I was growing up.
I ended up getting my GED when I was 21 because I left school.
Yeah.
And like I said, we sat down at the table and me and the counselor and the principal all agreed together it would be best for everybody.
Because you just weren't going to show up.
I just wasn't going to go.
Wow. So this rebel becomes a pastor, right?
Yeah.
So
feels like I've been in school ever since.
Did you learn in school about the Pilgrims and the
of course,
first Thanksgiving and all that stuff? I think it's true, right? I think the Pilgrims and the Indians got together to give thanks. Pilgrims made it through that first winter. I think half of them died, right? And they were still giving thanks, even in that hard time. I think there's probably a lesson in there, right?
Yeah, well, and the lesson is that those folks understood and recognized we live in a fallen world. And life and death are at its utmost importance in our minds and in our thoughts. But the reality of it is to understand that God is in the midst of it all. and that we are all just pilgrims passing through. This ain't our home. We're all going to go the way of the grave someday if Jesus doesn't come back soon. And heaven is home. That's where homebound should always be. We're all pilgrims. We should all think along the lines of the pilgrims. Even going through a rough time in life, let's be thankful.
Well, I think the Bible even talks about, I don't know if the King James calls it pilgrims, but aliens in this world, right?
Yeah.
So we're not really Christians who believe in God anyway, not really home here in this world.
Yeah, the three prime terms is aliens, pilgrims, and passer-throughers.
Okay.
Strangers.
Right.
Strangers.
And the Bible even talks about the body does waste away, right? And that's just a part. Even the most godly, the most holy people, they're still going to die.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Still things to be thankful for in those situations. Now, I was noticing on your bio that you're also a certified life coach, as well, pastor and a hospice chaplain. What is a life coach? What do you do there?
Really, the difference and I prefer coaching over counseling. And the difference is asking the right questions for people and listening. You got to learn to really listen well and listen to what they're saying and maybe what they're not saying, and ask the right questions so that as they consider the answer, they come to their own conclusions. It's not me telling them this is what you need to do.
Right.
It's helping them discover what they need to do.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, and that's just wise.
And then they receive it better.
Right. Now, they're going to receive it better from themselves than from
Exactly.
you, probably, or anybody else. You were telling me earlier that you have had a medical issue this year, you prostate cancer, dealing with that. That's some scary stuff. So when you have to deal with life and death, heavy stuff like that in your own personal life, does that make it harder to be thankful when Thanksgiving rolls around?
Yeah, I think just the opposite. I think it's a reality that life is short. And, not just the prostate cancer, but I'll be 63 next week, and man, that went by fast. And so you really learn to appreciate every good day, every healthy day, every good thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And life, the life we live in, I think, for all time, going back to the beginning, life is stressful. Seems to be more stressful now with the bombardment of everything going on. How can we be thankful through the stress? Or maybe, how can we relieve that stress?
Yeah. Well, a couple of good questions there. But first of all, we've got to slow down enough to look around. We've got to take the time to look around and see the things that we appreciate so much, the simple little things in life. There are times that my toddler granddaughter will hug me and pat me on top of the head. I'm not sure why she does that. She was raised with dogs. That's probably why.
That's probably it.
And it's just like, man, life is good.
Yeah.
And you just slow down for a moment, the simple little things, and to really embrace that and appreciate the moments.
Can that be a choice for people? Because we've got people, they're running 1,000,000 miles an hour. They're trying to make the mortgage payment. They're trying to put food on the table. They're working this job, that job, everything else. How can they slow down?
Well, they slow down by, number one, realizing I don't have to have everything. Simplify.
Yeah.
Simplify. Be more content. The Bible talks about contentment and what a gift contentment is. And when we learn to be content with what we have, we are able to enjoy that. But if we're always looking at something else that we would rather have, or what somebody else has better than us, then we'll never be satisfied. We'll never have that peace, and we'll never have that real joy and thankfulness in our heart because we're always wanting something we don't have. Learn to appreciate what you've been given.
When we're bombarded with advertisements that tell us not to be satisfied, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, always want more, always need more. Okay, so if folks want to get more information about you or your church, Calvary Assembly of God, Jeff City, how do they get that?
They can find us on Facebook and go to Calvary Assembly of God, Jefferson City, Missouri, and our logo is a kind of a bright green, and so it'll stick off the page for you easily. Or you can go to our website, www.agjc.com.
Okay. And you'll be happy to talk with them?
Absolutely. Reach out. Phone number is 573-893-2275. We have a praying church. We'd love to have you there. Sunday morning, 10:30. We got a great church.
Okay. Pastor Jeff Higbie, thank you so much for joining us for Lake TV's Community Spotlight Show.